Superior Books, British Vintage Paperbacks. Hi, I'm Gary Lavisi, and this time we're going to talk about or look at some books that I really don't know that much about. Superior Books is a it was an imprint of Streamline Publications, British Paperbacks, and there's a couple of them that here's the spines of the books. The books are not numbered, and for the most part they're not dated. And interestingly enough, the first three books I have are from the 50s, and they're general fiction. You have a Island in Danger, which is a story of the British Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, and other islands that were actually under German occupation in World War II, from 1940 to 1945. And Islands in Danger is a very interesting book because it's loaded with photos of the German occupation of the British Channel Islands.
So it's nonfiction?
So it's nonfiction, right? It's World War II history with has information about the British commandants the German commandants that ruled the island for 5 years, the people that fought against the Germans. There's another section of photos. There's a fort, and it tells you all the information. It's an interesting story, some of the leading people. The interesting thing about all of these Superior is the logo. It's a really cool logo, Superior Books, with a lion, roaring lion in the middle, and the logo is on the cover, of course. It's on the bottom of the spine and on the back cover. And the interesting thing about Superior Books is that they all have wraparound covers, and they're really bright, colorful, beautiful, cool books. Island in Danger has the wraparound cover, the back. Louis Baretti by Donald Henderson Clark is a reprint of American edition, and it's from 1957, and has a back cover, wraparound cover. That's from 1957. Islands in Danger is from, this is the third printing from 1959 of this edition. So there were two previous to this, Superior Books. The third book that we're going to look at is Bitter Monsoon by Oliver Moxon, and it is a story about the British fighting in Burma in World War II. So it's a war book, a true war book by a soldier who was there, and the back cover. So they all have pretty cool cover art. The thing is about Superior Books is not a lot known about them. I tried to find out some information, but it doesn't seem to be much there to find. Streamline Publications of London was the publisher of these books, and the thing is that what I could find is that it seems that, I'm not sure, but this might be possible, Dennis Gifford and Bob Monkhouse, in 1947 began Streamline Comics in the UK, and that was a 4-issue comic book. It was about a British Superman kind of superhero, and they began Streamline Publications around 1949, and they reprinted US comic books. But they may have also then reprinted or printed regular paperbacks. So their paperback I don't know if they're connected, but the Streamline Publications of Gifford and Monkhouse or the Streamline Publications. That was by Superior Books. Superior Books paperbacks seem to have begun around 1950 and ran to around 1974. They published some general fiction. These books are really very, very scarce, impossible to find. There are others that are even harder to find. And then it seems like they just went into the Western publishing full time, and they published Western novels, and they did a lot of them. And but the thing is, these came out in the late 50s, early 60s, ran through the 60s up to 71. They had different prices on them. This is 3/6 because it has two photo sections in it, but basically 2/6. I guess it's 2 shillings 6 pence. And one of the earlier westerns, Steel to the South by Wayne D. Overholser, is a 2/6 paperback, and the cover art and the back cover. And then the price went up to 3 6, Northwest Crossing by Samuel Alexander White, and the back cover of that. All of these have really nice, exciting Western cover art, wraparound covers, and they're really cool. Room for the Rolling M by Bertrand W. Sinclair. There's another one. It's a 3/6 cover price. That's the back cover. Back cover is not so much. It says Western Novel, Superior Books. They all have this. The books have no numbers, and they have no dates inside. They don't credit the artist. But there are two books that I found that have Paul, Paul, the artist signed his name. So at least two books are by an artist named Paul, and it seems to be that other books in the series have the style of those two. So he may have done more than the two books in the series. He may have done most of these Western covers, but I'm not sure. Paul, I don't know who Paul is. It's not Julian Paul, I don't think, who did early Pyramid books. There was also a woman artist who, I think it was Margaret Paul, and her name was spelled Paull, who did covers for the Canadian paperbacks by Collins, white circle paperbacks. So it wouldn't be her because she spelled her name with 2 L's. So I don't know who this Paul is. Maybe one of the British collectors or scholars will know. But just to let you know that there are some of the books the cover art is signed by Paul. Another book in the series, Mystery of Limestone Mountain by Charles Ballou. Superior Books. Again, they all have the logo, which is a pretty cool logo. It's a pretty cool series of books. These later ones now, the back covers are not as interesting as they were in the earlier ones. Guns of Massacre Gap by Walter A. Tompkins. Again, these have the 3/6 price. And you see, like, as time goes on, the price is going up. It's changing. This is one of the first books that actually has some writing on the back, because I guess the back cover art was really kind of nothing going on there, so they put some words in. Trail of the Twisted Horseshoes by Donald Bain Hobart this is one of the first ones that price goes up to 5 shillings or 25 NP, which I guess is new pence. So probably getting into the late 60s with these. Now I say these maybe early middle 60s, now like late 60s back cover. Nice wraparound cover. And I love that logo. Usually I don't collect Westerns. I do like Westerns because of the action, the adventure, the cover art. There's violence, there's action, conflict, and these have colorful covers. They're pretty cool, very pulpy. And Westerns, even though I don't know a lot of these authors, and I haven't read most of these, the good Western novels are very close to being very hard-boiled. So sometimes you can read a Western novel and it's still a hard-boiled novel, as hard-boiled as Chandler or Hammett or Spillane or anybody else. It's just set in the West, but it's still a hard-boiled noir kind of great story. The next book is The Raiders by Samuel Alexander White. This is the second book I have by him here. And again, it's 5 shilling, 25 new pence. And the back cover. Not much going on in the back cover here. A little bit of little smaller images. Centerfire Smith by Clem Colt. Another kind of cool, they're very dramatic covers. I mean, I kind of like them. These were probably like the middle 60s, maybe going to the late 60s, which is kind of not exactly where I collect. I collect earlier on vintage paperbacks usually, but these are pretty cool, even for Western novels. And the back cover is a little kind of all hell breaks loose, everybody getting blown up. Kind of nice piece of work there, piece of artwork. Men in the Raw by William McLeod Rain, who's a well-known Western author. Another book in the series. And the back cover. Here we talk a little bit about the story. Very little actually, but it's okay. And again, we're at the 25 new pence. The next book is The Branded Maverick by Frank Warner. Rustlers, Outlaws, Torture, and Vengeance. Nice kind of cover. Bigger Superior Books logo, just to let you know. And the back cover, I don't know, back cover just shows you like the guy's butt. It's kind of, I don't know, that's okay, I guess. That's what they wanted to put there, but it didn't work. Doesn't work for me. Next one is Valley Ranch by Archie Jocelyn. Another 25 new pence. And on this one, this is a Paul cover, and I can find it. If you can see it, it's signed Paul down here. And the back cover. Cool book. Valley of Tumbling Waters by Charles Ballou, another Charles Ballou book. Fast-moving story packed with excitement. I never heard of that Western author, but it's again another 5 shillings or 25 new pence. I don't know exactly when the new pence went into effect, but that'll give you a date on these books when they came out. Give you an idea. I guess it's the late 60s, maybe early 70s, 70, 71, but there's no date in these books except for one, which we're going to get to. I'll show you. And it's the back cover of that. Not much going on here, so they put a square with to tell you about the story.
But you said 2.
Yeah, there's the other one. The other Paul is
No, with dates.
No, there's just this one. The Rancher's Secret by Dane Lander. And now we're like right in 25 pence territory. And this book is dated 1971. So, this is the back cover. So this is 1971. And I assume, and the last one that I have is Broken Lance by Frank Gruber. Exciting story of a man's revenge on a background of Indian warfare. It's Frank Gruber, very well-known mystery, crime, and Western writer. This is a book about Custer's last stand. 25 pence, so this probably dates around the same time as this one, so it's 71, maybe 72. The back cover shows the Indians attacking, tells you a little bit about the book, and it's Broken Land Superior Books. So that's the that's what I have on the Superior Books, published by Streamline Publications, London. British paperbacks from the 50s, 60s, and up until around 71. They all have wraparound covers. They all have really cool artwork. The early books that are the non-Westerns are really scarce and probably quite collectible and expensive, I would think. The Westerns you can find on eBay and ABE for $5 or $10, you know. But they're nice. They're pretty cool, and it's an interesting series. I don't think anything's ever been done on these books, or in any of the magazines or anything, or any place. So this is probably all new stuff to a lot of people. It's new to me. I had these books for a long time, and I always kind of liked them. And I says, yeah, it'd be a good idea to do something on these, because it's kind of a new interesting area, and I'll see what I can find out. Unfortunately, I couldn't find out all that much. Hopefully, one of our British subscribers will be able to maybe fill us in a little bit on some of the information on these books. Hope so. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always looking for suggestions for new videos. And again, I hope you enjoyed this look at Superior Books, British Westerns and other stuff. And if you did, give us a thumbs up and a like. And thanks for looking.